who used music as his voice to speak the truth when words were far too dangerous. Well, today I want to tell you about a Russian composer by the name of Dmitri Shostakovich. Dmitri was born in St. Petersburg in 1906. His father had a job, but he was an amateur singer, and his mother was a pianist and a piano teacher. So he grew up in a very musical family, and his mother started teaching him at the age of 9. She started teaching him piano, and only 4 years later, when he is 13, he is already enrolled in the Petrograd Conservatory. So he learned very quickly. While he's in college studying, there's a lot of political turmoil in Russia, and it leaves families in a bad place, including his family. And so he started playing and performing piano for silent movies to financially help his family out. But also, he later was going to write for movies, so it really started those wheels turning. By the time he was 19, only 19, now he's been playing piano for 10 years, he wrote his first composition, which was very well received. He was described as shy, awkward, and anxious, and these insecurities only grew as he tried to survive in this dictatorship. And artistic loyalty was like mandatory, right? Artistic loyalty to the state, but he didn't feel loyal, so this anxiety just got worse. He met this lady called Nina Verzar. She was an engineer, and they got married. They had 2 children, Maxim and Galina, and then she died pretty young in 1954. This left him devastated. He loved her a lot. In 1936, he writes an opera called Lady Macbeth of Mtsensk, and Stalin didn't like it and walked out, and this became a big deal, not just like a scandal, but a political and perhaps life-threatening issue. Headlines read, "This is a chaos instead of music," and he became a suspect citizen. Perhaps it was felt that his music was anti-Russia. Which probably it was. Packed a suitcase and slept by the door every night, so if the Secret Service was coming to prison him, they wouldn't wake up his family. Kind of sad. So he was writing a 4th symphony, didn't know what to do with it. He shelved it. He ended up writing a 5th symphony to make things better. It was his official explanation to what happened, and it was called the Soviet Artist Response to Just Criticism. Somehow this seemed to work, even though a lot of the people that were listening understood exactly that there was a lot of irony in this music, but Stalin liked it, and so they could move on. This really was his career, so he's publicly praising the government, yay, Russia's so great, but then privately he's writing these coded, resistance messages into his music, and then he's probably praying very hard to stay alive. So let's go through the traits as I have found them best and what they're speaking to. So there's this intense dissonance and these sudden shifts. And this is supposed to be about the emotional instability that people are living with under dictatorship. There's a lot of mechanical marches. And this is depression and the militarism that they're having to live with. There are a lot of Jewish themes also, which is solidarity with the persecuted people. There's dark satire and that's a hidden political commentary. And then there's the chamber orchestra intimacy, and that's like private emotional confessions. These things are all throughout. And a lot of people were recognizing this, and he had perform or compose in such a way that the people could hear, hey, we're in this together, none of us like this, but at the same time that it needed to sound grand enough that Stalin's like, oh, they all like me and it's good, so he won't be killed. Going to stay on the seesaw of being loved and not loved by the government for, I guess, forever. During the Second World War, he wrote a 7th symphony, which is called Leningrad. It was a very big deal. The city was under siege and it was being starved out. And this was performed live and it was broadcast and everyone heard it, including the German soldiers. But it did unify and bring people, I think, this closer together. Just knowing, hey, I'm not in this by myself can sometimes help a lot. During the war, he was celebrated. His music was being used as to bring people together and yay, Russia. But then in 1948, 3 years after the war, Russia's like, no, we don't like you anymore. And he was denounced, accused of formalism, which is ridiculous. And also, what even does that mean? And then in 1960, he decides that he's going to join the Communist Party. Probably not because he suddenly changed his mind on how it was, but he wanted safety for him and his children, and just leave me alone. And that was a way that could happen. His music is absolutely beautiful. His string quartet number 8 is an autobiographical cry for pain, and he dedicates it to the victims of fascism and war. But many people are thinking he's probably talking about himself, or at least including himself as one of those victims. I mean, you're going to hear motifs from other songs and also dedications to himself because he puts his initials in it musically. But this is a heartbreaking, beautiful song. In his final years, there is an illness, including cancer and also paralysis of his hands, but it doesn't stop him composing. And he wrote his 15th symphony, a final reflection on death and memory. He died in 1975. It's such a contradiction between truth and survival, trying to walk that tightrope his whole life. His life through his music is a testimony that art can resist tyranny. The humor can mask grief. He uses a lot of humor in his music. And that perhaps truth can survive censorship. Just a clever mind. Please go and listen to some Dmitri Shostakovich.